Ever since the 7th of October, there's been a lot of debate about Israel and the Palestinian territories and the history of it and everything else. And you would think that since then people would do their homework and they'd do their research. But no, all these idiots protesting on the streets in the West, they don't know anything about anything. They don't even know what river or what sea. But we have already talked about the actual history, going back centuries, and of course the kingdoms and the Jews and all the others actually had the place before the Islamic side even became a thing. But let's focus on the word Palestine. Of course, 1948, the state of Israel returned, came back into place. Now, a lot of people go and say, well, Palestine has been stolen by the Jews and we have to do something about it. And it was always the Muslim Arabs who were living there. They called it Palestine, but there was no flag. There was no president, no prime minister, no king, no queen, no flag, no identity. Because when they called the Palestinian people, the Palestinian territories, until basically the 40s, it was anybody who lived there, Christians and Jews and Muslims. And of course, one side was destroying the other side on a regular basis. Now let's talk about the truth. In 1922, the British messed up. Again, the British decided to take away the Jewish land and promise it to the Muslim Arabs. And that's when things started going massively wrong. We can see the evidence, the maps. So this is what they call Palestine, the Jewish national home, 1919. You can see the map in the middle, British mandate, Jewish national home, 1920. You can see it, and of course the desert on the left, and you've got the French mandate, Syria in the north, and Egypt in the south. The whole country on both sides of the Jordan was destined as a Jewish national home, according to the Balfour Declaration 1917. We know that. But when you make some changes in terms of the date, the mandate for Palestine, 24th of July 1922. On the left-hand side, the white section is basically what we now have as mostly Israel, but you can see Rafah on the left. That bit on the left is the Gaza Strip, and on the right-hand side with the blue circle around it, that's the West Bank. But the white bit, the whole thing was supposed to be Jewish Palestine, which we now call Israel. On the right-hand side, Transjordan, the yellow section. That's basically the Arab side of the Palestinian side, the Muslims. That was the original two-state solution anyway. But this obviously showing the area of the Transjordan in which the reconstruction of the Jewish national home was to be postponed or withheld. The territory of Jewish Palestine has been reduced by 77% of the original mandate. So the British Empire basically gave away the Jewish side to the Muslim Arabs. And you can see 1921, 1923, the British mandate. Again, on the left-hand side, you got the Palestine. This is supposed to be for the Jews, which is basically Israel. So that includes Gaza, that includes most of the West Bank. And then they decided to come up with the compromise in the middle of the West Bank. But then on the right-hand side, Transjordan, area separated and closed to Jewish settlement, 1921. So that's where all the Muslim Arabs are supposed to go. And funnily enough, the left-hand side, the Jewish Palestine, which is basically Israel, was not actually closed off to Muslim Arabs. The Muslim Arab side, the Transjordan, was basically, they banned the Jews. But the Jewish side, the Israeli side, didn't ban Muslims. That's why Muslims are now living in Israel. Christians live in Israel. That is the difference. Now, you go to this section. All right. You can look at the absolute mess of it. Obviously, in March 2019, the United States recognized Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, right? You can now see that section, the blue section, is now Israel. The red section on the left, the Gaza Strip, and of course on the right-hand side, the West Bank is now huge. Look how big the West Bank is now, because we gave away so much to the Muslim Arab side. And then they come out to say, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, technically, Palestine is free, because Palestine is not just for the Muslim Arabs. You have the Palestine, Jewish Palestine, which is basically the state of Israel. And you guys were supposed to have your two-state solution in Jordan. That was the whole point of the agreement. Everybody was fine with it until someone said, let's go and destroy all the Jews. These are the facts.